Alright, so today we're taking a look at the order of operations. By the end of this lesson, you want to be able to use the order of operations to simplify expressions. So to start, as a quick review, whenever we're simplifying expressions, we want to use the order of operations because that tells us which operation to perform first. So first is always operations inside grouping symbols. That includes any parentheses, brackets, braces, and anything along those lines. Oftentimes you'll see this symbolized with the word P, or with the letter P for parentheses. Second, you're going to evaluate powers, so that would be an E. Third is going to be multiplication and division from left to right. And then fourth would be addition and subtraction from left to right. Spelling out the word PEM DA S, which is an acronym that we often use. So let's use the order of PEM DA S to simplify the following expressions. So if we have 12 minus 3 squared plus 10 divided by 2, first thing I like to do is start with P. So do I have any parentheses? No. Now we look at evaluating exponents, and we have some of those. So this becomes 12 minus 3 to the second power is 9 plus 10 divided by 2. So if you look through here, the only thing that I've changed is that I replaced or substituted in 9 for 3 to the second power. Now I'm going to go through, since I've evaluated all exponents, I'm going to look for any multiplication and division left to right. Since my first operation is subtraction, I'm going to leave that, same with the addition. But now, in place of the 10, I'm going to replace the 10 divided by 2 with its equivalent, which is 5. And now we're going to go left to right with our addition and subtraction. 12 minus 9 is 3 plus 5. So we have a final answer of 8. So now why don't you go ahead and pause the video and try this next one on your own. So now we're going to start with our P again. And we're going to look for grouping symbols. Now here, if you notice, we actually have multiple grouping symbols. So we have one inside the other, which is called nesting. You're always going to start inside to outside, because it's kind of like you have to follow the order of operations inside parentheses. So we're going to replace the 4 plus 1 with its equivalent, which would just be 5. So now I have negative 20 divided by negative 2 times 5. Keep working inside the parentheses. We have negative 20 divided by negative 2 times 5 is going to be negative 10. Now, negative 20 divided by negative 10 is simply going to be positive 2. Now, even when we are evaluating expressions with variables in them, we're still going to follow the order of operations. So, for example, if we have 10 minus x times 6, when x equals 3, we're going to substitute in our value for x first. So this becomes 10 minus 3 times 6. And then we follow order of operations, so multiplication comes first, so this will be 10 minus 18, and then 10 minus 18 is going to give us a value of negative 8. So why don't you pause the video and try the next one on your own. So this one's going to become 4 to the second power times negative 2 plus 3. So it's going to be 4 to the second power times negative 2 plus 3 is going to be 1. 4 to the second power is 16 times 1 is going to be simply 16. Now we often talk about brackets, braces, and parentheses, but fraction bars, radical symbols, and absolute value symbols can also be used as grouping symbols. So radical symbols, remember, are those square root signs. Absolute value are the bars, and then just fraction bars themselves. And then a fraction bar indicates division ultimately. Okay, so we're going to simplify 2 times negative 4 plus 22 all over 4 to the second power minus 9. So first you have to simplify the top and the bottom. So multiplication on top, so we have negative 8 plus 22. On the bottom we have 4 squared minus 9. Well, 4 squared is going to be 16 minus 9. Negative 8 plus 22 is going to be 14. 16 minus 9 is 5. You could leave it as 14/5, or we could say that it is 2 4/5. Let's look at a couple other examples. So we have 3 times the absolute value of 4 squared, which would be 16, plus 8 divided by 2. And sometimes you're going to figure out that some of these you can do and simplify at the same time. 16 plus 4, 3 times the absolute value of 20, 3 times, so this becomes just 3 times 20 because the absolute value of 20 is 20, which would be 60. Here we have 3 times the square root of 50 minus 1, which is 49. 3 times the square root of 49 is 7. And 3 times 7 is going to be 21. Another part of using the order of operations and expressions is just being able to translate phrases into the numerical expressions. So think about those keywords that you see. So like sum means addition, quotient would mean division, okay? And the other thing you want to look for is those keywords and, because those are typically going to tell you where operations go. So the sum of the quotient of 12 and 3, so that's telling you the sum of the quotient, so the quotient has to come first. So 12 divided by negative 3, and then our sum of the square root of 25. So why don't you go ahead and pause the video and try this next one on your own. Alright, so difference is going to mean subtraction, and product is going to be multiplication. So the difference of y and, so y minus the product of 4 and y divided by 2.